Hello, and welcome back to the Hilariously Unemployed podcast. I'm your host and always your favorite opportunity seeker, Dana Duckworth, aka the Big Speaker. I feel like I need some horns to go off when I say that. I gotta give me a soundboard. Anyway, I'm glad to be back before you all and super excited to bring you another guest to the show. But before we do that, let me catch you up on all things happening in my life. So if you follow me on socials, and I know you do, and if you don't, you should be. Last week was a lot, y'all. I went from Atlanta to Houston to home. Okay. So Atlanta, first I tapped in with my folks at the National Apartment Association. They had the Assembly of Delegates. I was there with my girls looking fabulous. Okay, check my page for the video we did to Destiny's Child, Lose My Breath. There was a gala there where they installed the new officers going forward for the next year. And my good girlfriend, Ashia Shepherd, aka the Joyful Leader, was installed as the regional VP of Region 1. So show her some love, y'all, in the comments. She is doing big things in that national apartment space. And then I switched gears because y'all know my tech family is really trying to pull me away from my apartment family, right? Y'all know it's a beef. I'm in between two worlds right now, and I love y'all all. But my tech family pulled me on over to Afrotech. And let me just tell you, Afrotech is a bucket list conference for me. I have always wanted to attend, but the companies I was with never had the budget, baby. But let me just tell you, I know some people in some places, and I was there, and I was in rare form. This conference is so amazing. If you've seen any of the chatter online, you know it was a vibe. Okay, we did have a good time, but there were so many opportunities to meet with companies, to get interviewed, to network, to learn from thought leaders, to hear from VCs, like to talk about AI. This conference was so magnetic. I mean, it's a grand scale, like 30,000 people are here. So it's huge and it can be overwhelming. My advice to anyone who wants to go to Afrotech is to make a plan. My plan was to get some interviews from some folks, and I did it, y'all. I'm going to be bringing you some amazing resources to help you along your way in your career journey. And I also did some street style interviews. So if you're not following the Hilariously Unemployed on IG, what are you doing? Follow us on Instagram. That's where a lot of my really funny clips are from Afrotech. I interviewed some people that I met about early career, trying to figure out where they started and where they are now. So make sure you tap in with me that way. All right, enough about me, enough about all of my things. I'm excited to bring you all yet another resource, and this is a really good resource, okay? All right, I have human resources. The humans are the resources, and I'm bringing you amazing one today. I want you all to welcome to the stage Miss Get Me Hired, Christy. Christy, say hello to the Hilarious.
Hello. Hey.
Hi, y'all ready for all this black girl magic? Because the hair is tearing on both of these screens, and I'm so excited for
it. Yes.
Christy.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me. Christy and I met back in July at the first tech conference I was ever at. And I was like, you got to be on my podcast. And then I got shy and life happened. So
Diversity.
yes. But I've been following her and watching all of the things that she is doing. And I was like, yo, hey, come on, be on the pod. She was like, okay. And I was like, I don't know why I was tripping and didn't reach out sooner. But she is really doing amazing work. We're going to get into all of that. But Christy, first things first, how was your Afrotech? Because I know you were there.
And Afrotech was amazing. This was my third Afrotech. So I've been to a lot of them, but I would have to say this one really topped it off.
I saw that you spoke on a panel for the Curly Girl Collective. Tell me more about what that was about.
Yeah. So basically, I was able to speak about my experience. The Curly Girl Collective invited me out to come and speak because I'm a natural girl in tech, and we struggle with that sometimes.
We do.
Sometimes it's a struggle. So I was able to go and speak about my experience and how I kind of handle navigating being natural in the tech space. And I told them I got one goal, and that's to get people hired because I'm getting hired, Christy. And so that's what we focus on. That's what we worried about.
That's it. And that's all. That's the goal of the Hilariously Unemployed, is to give you everything you need to find your next opportunity. With that being said, Christy, have you ever been hilariously unemployed?
Of course, I have. I've been laid off and I've also been unemployed. So let's talk about it.
Let's get to it. Can you share a little bit about your layoff story and how it's impacted your professional journey?
Yes, absolutely. And I think the thing that makes it so hilarious is that I look back at it now and I didn't even know the type of blessings that were coming towards me. And it's funny now. But
in hindsight, it's all hilarious.
It's all serious. But one of the biggest things I would say is I remember getting that email, that important update, that important business update. It didn't have anything in it. It didn't have no details. It was just important business update, mandatory meeting, must attend. And of course, everybody was texting everybody and like, what's going on? What's happening? You know, all of this stuff. And then we get on to the meeting. Of course, it's a layoff meeting. All the mics are muted. All of the cameras are off. And I'm like, oh, this is hilarious because I can't do nothing. I'm not like, you can't do anything but sit there and listen to your job being eliminated, you know?
Yeah.
And so when I look back at that, it's funny because it led me to a lot of opportunities that I have today, including building and growing the brand of Get Me Hired, Christy.
Wow. Okay, folks. So if you get that last minute meeting invite with no agenda, you already know what type of time it is. And just imagine if they did let y'all have y'all cameras on, the faces that would be made on the calls.
So they did it on purpose.
Yeah, if you get on a blackout call, just know 9 times out of 10, because companies always want to see your face. They have cameras on, they always want to see your face. But if you get on a webinar only mode,
yep. Important business update. I remember it was one LinkedIn post that was saying like, oh, what is the one phrase or the one email you'll always remember from a layoff? And it's like, yeah, whenever you see that important business update, I'm scarred for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life, I know what that means. But yeah.
What was your role at the time? What were you doing?
I was sourcing. I've always been sourcing. I've been sourcing for the last 5 years. So we know that the recruiting area is a sticky area, but I love it, you know? And so that is the reason why I've created a brand to kind of hold me over during those times. Because I know I'm not going to stop sourcing. And I know layoffs may not stop happening. So if I'm going to continue to do something that I love, I got to have a backup plan. I got to have a brand. I got to have figure something out. So
yeah, I keep telling y'all, every guest that comes on here says you have to have that brand. Like if I had this knowledge a long time ago, my brand would be even bigger. But hey, we are what we are, and we are growing it to scale.
We gotta start somewhere. We have to start somewhere.
So really, like hone in on your brand. If you're starting today, start today, and make
Get
sure
you a shirt.
Hey, you see it?
Get me hired, Christy.
And every time I see her in one of these spaces, she is repping that brand and letting them know that she can get y'all folks hired. So what's the platform for her to come and talk about getting folks hired? How many people were on that call? Like how many other people were impacted with you?
I feel like I saw like 200. It has a little number on there.
So this was a big company.
It was big. Yeah. It was a big company. It was one of the big tech companies I've worked at. Maybe 4 or 5 different big tech companies. So if you go on our LinkedIn profile, you can probably guess which one it was. Yeah. But yeah,
do your due diligence. We don't say no names.
But you know, no bad blood. I think it was just one of those things where I got caught up in a numbers game, and you know, at the end of the day, again, we learn our lessons. We will never, ever depend on one job to hold us over. And I think that's what I teach my audience. That's what I teach the people on my Instagram and my LinkedIn. Like we have to have some type of backup, some type of niche and brand that we can call our own. And that's what I've built for myself. And I want my audience to build for themselves as well.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have built that for yourself. And it's tremendous. And it's a brand built off helping other people. So what better way to build a brand, one that inspires and helps others? Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about like what you were actually doing. So I know you shared with me that you were at a time a recruiter for recruiters. Is that still the case now?
No, so actually I never recruited for recruiters, but that is the start of what built Get Me Hired, Christy, right? And so right now I am a technical sourcer. I've been doing technical sourcing for 5 years. Right now I focus on machine learning, but I am the talent attraction. I go out there and I find you. So if you have your LinkedIn optimized with those keywords, most likely I'm gonna pull up on you. I'm gonna reach out to you, and I'm gonna see if you're interested in the company that I'm working for. So that is what I do, and I also run Get Me Hired, Christy, which is just like a recruitment marketing platform where I promote different entry level and transferable jobs. And so That's the brand. And then we got the full-time job.
Listen, because Christy told y'all, you got to have a plan and a backup plan, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So she's got a regular 9 to 5, which is why this episode is coming to you pre-recorded, because it's after hours, because get your paycheck. Don't come over here and talking to me. Get your paycheck.
Yeah, we got to work tomorrow. I got candidate calls tomorrow. So when you see this, I'll probably be on the phone screening a candidate, making sure I give them that good candidate experience. But I'm here tonight. I'm here tonight. Yes. We're going to record it tonight. I'm going to drop these gems on you tonight.
I love this little late night pre-recorded vibe. I feel a lot loose. I feel really good talking to you. This is a good space. So I know you talked about your layoff kind of happening, but was that what really motivated you to start Get Me Hired, Christy, or was it something else?
Get Me Hired, Christy, started earlier, before the layoff season, like 2 years before layoffs started to happen within the tech space. So I did start off doing Get Me Hired, Christy, because I wanted to help recruiters get into recruitment. Because that was my passion. That's what I love. I love recruiting. And so I would see back in 2021, late 2019, 2020 and 2021, recruitment was popping. Okay. Yeah. It was so many jobs they were hiring. They were paying so much money. And I was like, okay, I have a job. I've secured the bag. Let me help others get into recruitment too. And most people, you don't have a degree to get into recruitment. Like that, it's something you can transfer into, or you can learn how to do it. And I transitioned from sales into recruitment. So I was like, okay, let me post these jobs on Instagram, because I'm posting jobs on Instagram so that people can see it. And then that will motivate people to go over to LinkedIn and see all of these jobs that are on here, because I have a network full of recruiters that are hiring, and I want people to see this. And so I originally started posting on Instagram these different recruitment jobs. And then that's kind of how Get Me Hired, Christy started off. Get Me Hired, Christy is going to get you into recruitment. And I had sessions for recruitment and all of that. And then it kind of transitioned into, once that died down, it transitioned into transferable skills. So it's like, okay, I want to get into recruitment, but I have this background. Oh, okay, you can use your transferable skills to get into recruitment from sales or from whatever area that you're coming into. So that's kind of what it transitioned into. And then eventually it started to do entry level. I started to do entry level roles where I was looking to help people kind of just get into the tech space somehow with the skills that they already had. Or if they were new grads or things like that, some of those entry-level roles that will help you get into the space and start making the kind of money that you need to make to support yourself and to support your family.
Yes. So you are out here doing the work. So you started trying to get people into a field that you love, right?
Yeah.
And then once you were like, okay, this is great. There's so many other jobs. Now let me see how I can help people who are early career, which I love, because people really just don't know where to start. And tech is an amazing industry. And of course, everybody's talking tech. Everybody wants to break into it. But if not for people like yourself, it can be kind of hard to know, hey, I don't really have the background for this or think that I'm qualified for this. But having someone like you kind of show them the way and let them know that this is a viable career option for you is great. So
I didn't have anybody to show me either. I think that was the biggest thing for me. I didn't have any guidance. I didn't know I could do internships at big tech companies when I was in college. Who knew that? And so now it's my responsibility, and the reason why I still have my 9 to 5 and still continuing to push to work in big tech, so I can share the information that I'm learning on how to navigate this space. And I think that's super important that I reach back and pull up. So that's my whole goal of my platform. And I'm excited to do it.
Yeah. So let's talk about your socials and where you're sharing all of this great information. So I know I follow you on Instagram and I see your stories all the time with the links there, but you are a really big deal on LinkedIn. You have the most followers of anybody I've ever seen on LinkedIn. So how did you scale that? What happened?
First off, I want to let you know that followers on LinkedIn don't matter if you don't know nobody in real life. If you're not making real connections, 210,000 followers don't matter, right? So that's why it's important for me.
A lot.
That's why it's important for me to go out to these conferences, to go out to these places, these networking events, and meet people in person, or have little networking events where I can meet my audience. Because if I don't know anybody for real, that doesn't matter, right? But my LinkedIn has started off. I originally started working at Google. I was working at Google back when I started my recruiting career as a contractor, and I think that's kind of how it picked up. And where it started off at, and just continued to build from there. But on LinkedIn, I have always showed how I am a candidate as well as a recruiter. I think that's the really important thing, being authentic about that. Not only have I applied to 1,000 jobs before, I've been rejected by emails. I've been rejected 2 minutes after applying. I've been ghosted by recruiters. I've had 7 interviews before. And so I think it's really important for me to share that process as a candidate, being a recruiter, so that I can make sure my candidate experience is always on point whenever I'm working with candidates. And that way people trust me, my candidates and my audience trust me to guide them through a fair process to where there's open communication. And then that is how the audience has been built up on LinkedIn, right? And then of course we got Get Me Hired Christy on Instagram and TikTok. I joined TikTok about a year ago as well, where we are like, it's a constant thing. Catch me in the stories on Instagram. Like, you have to be able to go through the stories so that you can click on the links and get to the jobs. But I'm sharing all of the jobs that I see, especially if it's entry level, especially if it's remote or something transferable. And I try to give you a contact for each one of those jobs as well, especially if like a hiring manager or recruiter post it. So that's it. That's the bread and butter of the brand. Like, I usually know somebody that knows somebody, or I'm connected to somebody that has some type of hiring power. And so that is where you come in. You use me. You use me for that.
Use Christy for that. So you heard her. If you are looking for a job, in my audience of Hilarious, y'all are looking for a job, right? I need you to go ahead and follow Christy on IG, because she literally is posting jobs all the time. And speaking about posting jobs and then going to these conferences and speaking and also having a full-time job, how do you balance everything and still give it your all to your brand?
I think it's pretty tough at the end of the day, because I want to give my all to both. But I know at the end of the day, I've been laid off before. I've been in a space where I didn't have a company to support me or to send me to a conference. And so I had to be able to do those things myself. And I have to have a safety net for myself. And so that is what motivates me each day to keep pushing. And also the candidates that I'm helping, the job seekers that I'm helping, my goal is to help people get hired, whether that is through a connection that I have, a post that I make, a job that I post. When I was at Afrotech, there were so many people coming up to me and say, Christy, I got a job off of one of the jobs that you posted. And I was like, great. Like, that makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so happy. Or, Christy, you don't even know how many jobs that you posted that I've applied to. And I had an interview for one. Maybe I didn't end up getting it, but I would have never seen that job if you wouldn't have posted it. And I think that's the power of social media and the power of me having just like such a big network, is that I see things maybe other people don't, but it's my responsibility to go back out and share it so that you can see it. Right. And so I think it's tough to balance, but if you remember what the goal is, what the mission is at the end of the day, to help people from marginalized communities get to a place to where they are financially stable in the economy like this, then you just do it.
You are doing amazing work, and I love that is your driver, like, to really help people from marginalized communities get to that bag and chase that cheddar. Let's talk more about some of the personal stories or memorable stories you have from people who have interacted with your content or got the job.
Yes.
Some good news.
Yes. I think I might have jumped the gun speaking on those, but I think one of the most memorable ones is when I first got into recruitment. I first got into sourcing. One of the candidates reached back out to me and said, Christy, thank you so much. I received my job offer today. I signed it. And you know what? This is the most money I've ever made. Right. And it did something to me, because it made me realize that this is a space where people could really change their lives and change their family lives. And if I'm being a factor in that process, then it just felt so amazing to me. And I'm like, oh, I want to continue to do this. And actually, I want to do more. And actually, I want to do it on the side too. Right.
Mhm.
And so that was probably the most impactful message that I've ever gotten, that has driven me to keep pushing and keep doing it. And although I get tired and of doing like the same thing over and over again, because I recruit during the day, and then technically I kind of recruit at night. It's in a different way. I'm promoting. I'm looking at jobs all day.
Mhm.
Um,
She's about them jobs, y'all.
I'm looking at jobs all day, but you know what? At the end of the day, I see what the bigger picture is. I
Yeah.
see something bigger than myself, and that's all I ever wanted to do.
I love that so much, Christy. You are giving such good information here, and all the good vibes are just coming and radiating out of my heart and my smile, because I love people that are just about helping people, because we all need some help sometime, some way. So, speaking of helping people, for those who have not created a personal brand like you and myself, what would you say they should start doing, or how can they go about creating a strong personal brand if they wanted to start today?
Yeah, I would start creating content or writing posts over a niche that you're very passionate about. One of the biggest things for me, or my niche, is job seeking. I have a couple of different ones that I kind of focus on, but I focus
Mhm.
on job seeking. I focus on navigating layoffs, since all these layoffs have been happening, and I focus on side money or side gigs. And
Mhm.
so these are three things that really help people to navigate the space that they're in, whether they're looking for a job, whether they need some extra income while they're looking for a job, or just different things like that. So I would say find a niche that you're passionate about, that you can write about, you can talk about probably all day,
Mhm.
and start to post about it, so that you can build an audience or community around things that you're talking about. Now, these niches can be anything, because if you think about it, you can build a community around anything. Look at Reddit, look at those types of communities there, where you have coupon communities, you have different
Mhm.
communities like that. But find something that you're passionate about, that you could talk about, that you could write about, and just start there and start to build it up. And I think that that would kind of help to build the brand up. And once you start that, then you can start applying to go speak at places, so that you can start talking about it in front of people. And then that, when people start to see you in person, listen to you, hear your passion about it,
Mhm.
then that is when you are able to really start building up your personal brand.
Yes, Christy is in fact a big speaker also, y'all. She is booked and busy in sharing her knowledge, not just on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on her socials, and directly with candidates, but she is traveling to conferences and sharing that information with the masses. Now, I am always looking at your story because I like a nice side hustle, and I need more money. It costs a lot to for my self-care. It's extremely expensive. So listen, when I say I'm looking at Chrissy's stories, y'all, I'm looking at them for you and for me. Okay. So I'm looking at those side gigs that she's posting as well. It's just a good space. And it makes me feel good when I'm like, if I'm just in stories and then yours pop up, and then I'm like, oh, okay, let me see what Chrissy got going on. Because the
Mhm.
opportunities that she's posting, like she's giving detail, and she's like, y'all, this remote, y'all, this 100K, this is, you know what I mean? This is the person who posted it. So it's really in depth and really thoughtful information that she's posting. She's not just out here throwing links out to you. She's doing some of the hard work we know that comes with job searching for you to get you ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And candidates position themselves, because we know remote work is the dream for everybody. But how can candidates better position themselves for remote opportunities?
I think being able to build up a personal brand, to show that you're able to really handle something just like outside on your own. That's going to be one of the biggest things. Having the trust to be able to hold it down. And
Mhm.
then I think another thing would be applying for the job super early, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be a battle when it comes to a lot of these remote roles. The people are fighting for them. And although, before remote, we was going into the office, we was driving however many miles we needed to drive, but
Yeah.
it has showed that we work better from home. We don't have to worry about microaggressions in the office. We don't have to worry about little things when it comes to going into the office. Although I enjoy, a nice hybrid model, but
Mhm.
some people really have to stick to in order to have a peace of mind and to be productive and to be able to work their best work. I think that it's important for them to have a remote model, but I would say being one of the first to apply, staying on top of it, applying within that first 10, 15 minutes that is up. So having those job alerts up, and then having a personal brand that allows you to stand out amongst all the other applicants. If you're talking about something different, or you're talking about people are listening to what you have to say.
Mm-hmm. So I know you share with me that you do workshops because you're really committed to like the job seeker, the entire job cycle, and making sure that people are getting work. Talk to me a little bit more about your workshops, what your focus really is there. And are these workshops that you do where anybody can come, or are they inside of organizations?
So as we wrap up the end of 2024, a lot of the workshops or webinars that I've done have been for organizations or nonprofits or things like that. But one of the things I was really excited to talk about coming on here is that I will be starting a cohort where I will be helping people who want to be a part of the cohort build their personal brands on LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok, and then also helping to get them on as many stages as possible. So this is going to be a really big deal for me. I'm now passing the torch. I've been to I can't even tell you how many conferences I spoke at this year. But I'm passing the torch because I need to see more people of color, more faces out there speaking about their niche, their passion, and building their brands up. So I want to be the one to help do that. And so that will be coming here soon in 2025. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. Most of the time, I'm just making videos and putting it out there, being real, being transparent about the process so that people know what's really up when it comes to getting in these roles.
So y'all heard that cohort. I'm gonna go ahead and knock y'all out the way, and I'll be the first one to sign up. No, hilarious. Just kidding. This is for you. But that is amazing. You know, personal branding is something that has really propelled a lot of people's careers. So you heard Chrissy say it's coming. So make sure you're following her. Make sure you're following her on all social so that you see when she drops that information, because she's not just giving you lip service. Like, she literally is doing this. And I have seen her be in so many spaces on so many stages this year, and her content is like out of this world. So when she says she knows how to get you booked and busy, she means that. And like I said, I'll be pushing all of y'all out of line so I could be first.
I also have created a LinkedIn learning course where I talk about mentorship in the workplace. So not only am I helping you get hired, I'm helping you to navigate the space once you're in there. And I have a new LinkedIn learning course coming out here soon. I won't bring it up. But it should be released here soon on networking. So that one is going to be really fun, and I want you to be able to watch those and like learn from those as well.
Yeah, make sure you share that with me so that I can reshare it and highlight it and make sure that people are learning from you. Look, we got a LinkedIn learning creator, y'all. She is doing the work in every way possible. She's making it very easy for you to get to the bag. So follow Get Me Hired, Christy. How have you navigated all of the time it takes you when you're because this is the thing that I'm trying to balance, right? So I'm asking for myself. As a speaker and a conference goer and a content creator, the thing that I struggle the most with is consistency, because as soon as it's time to go, I'm like, okay, all the other stuff has to fall to the back burner. How are you still able to do your content and scale your work while you're on the go?
Well, I'll tell you right now, I have to take breaks. I typically take a break, and my audience will tell you, I took a break last year from Thanksgiving to the New Year. And I think it was just a time to recharge. But when we think about creating content, speaking, always being on the move, building up your brand, working, you got to think about it. Everything is content. Everything is content. So you speaking on the stage, you traveling to that place, you on the move, grabbing something to eat in between sessions while you're at a conference, that's content. Everything's content. And so being able to like put that together and create something, I think that's good. And I think people really underestimate the power of stories. If you look on my Instagram, it's been a while since I've made a reel, but I stay in the stories. Right. Okay. And if you're my true audience, my true followers, my day ones, they know They know that all the information, everything that I'm doing is gonna be in this. I'm gonna put it in the story. Right.
Okay.
And so I think that kind of shows just like your loyal audience, your loyal community, and things like that.
Thank you for that advice. I got to get my content up, y'all. I got to be showing y'all what I'm eating.
If you get that Chick-fil-A while you in Atlanta, we need to know about the Atlanta Chick-fil-A.
In the airport, I got to let y'all know what's going down and what I'm grabbing to eat and how I'm staying hydrated. It's a lot, but I know I could do a lot more. And I'm thankful for people like you who inspire me to do more, go further, and be greater. If you could give one piece of advice to job seekers navigating the job scene right now, what would it be?
Build your personal brand. Have something to call your own. Will be my piece of advice. Have something to call your own.
Yes, personal brand. Like, y'all, I swear, every person that comes on here says that, and it could not be more true. Are you doing any more conferences this year, or are you done?
Ooh. I am done. You know, my birthday is coming up in December, so I'm getting ready to turn 30. So it's gonna be my
Christy is a baby.
I'll be 30 this year, and so it's really important. December is the whole month of December is my birthday, so we'll be celebrating and we'll be done with conferences. But I did see that TextGiving is looking for 2 hosts, so I may apply for that. So I might pop a video out and see. But other than that, I'm done with conferences. It's been a lot this year, but I'm gonna rest up, get ready for next year, and get ready to start getting people on stages, not necessarily myself, but getting others on stages. So that's what I'm working on.
Yeah, TextGiving is coming up. It's right up the road for me. I'm in Virginia, so that Arlington, that DC area. I do foresee myself popping out to that. GovTechCon is also another one that is coming up. So there are still a couple of conferences, y'all. If y'all are looking to conference and network, you got GovTechCon and you got TextGiving, and they're up the road for me. So you might be seeing a big speaker there, and I might be asking you, what was your first job? If you've been following me on Instagram, you've seen some really funny content from folks at Afrotech, and I'm asking them what their first job were, and they're like, oh, I was at McDonald's, I was doing the fries, and then they tell you what they're doing now. And just to hear the career progression is absolutely amazing, especially because these are all Black people. So to hear like, hey, I was working in this space where a lot of us have come through, and then now I'm the head of this or the founder of that and the CEO of this, it just means that you have the potential to be anything you want to be in this life and continue to learn and grow. Christy, any last thoughts you want to leave with myself, my followers, the Hilarious, anybody who's going to see this?
Yes, I want to let everyone know that troubles do not last long. If you have been going through a layoff, you will make it through. You are hireable and you will find another job. Don't even worry about it. This is just a rough time, a rough patch right now for job seekers. But at the end of the day, the best things always come to those who wait a little bit longer than others. And I found that to be true for myself going through a layoff. And I want you to understand that everything is going to be okay. Get me higher, Christy. Okay, I got you.
I love that. Yes, ma'am. Come on, Sad. I love it so much. Christy, I cannot thank you enough for blessing me with your presence today and giving my audience some amazing tips, tricks, gems, and encouraging them to follow you, because that's how they're going to get their next opportunity. And if Get Me Higher, Christy, gets you higher, make sure you come and tell us, because we want to highlight that as well. I love to have you on the show if you get hired by Get Me Higher, Christy, so you can tell that story about how she's impacted your life, y'all, because she is really doing the work. Audience, as always, I thank you for tuning in to the show. If you are impacted by a layoff or know anyone who's hiring, share this with them, because that is the audience that we are targeting. If you would like to tell your hilarious unemployment story, I mean funny, because it's funny that we're this qualified and this underemployed, but please reach out to me. I'd love to highlight you on the show. And as always, I've been your host and favorite opportunity seeker, the Big Speaker. Catch you on the next one, y'all. Bye.